Go.
I have all four.
All right, you guys. So when looking at our cover, Dylan, what do you think is going to happen in this?
I have no idea.
What does the word twister refer to?
Tornado.
Tornado. So we understand that.
Tornado or dust mask.
So do you see what? Have you any of you guys ever been in a tornado?
No.
Yes.
No.
You have. Where?
But I actually have a mini tornado.
Well, I mean, have you ever been in an outside tornado?
No.
And neither have I. But listen to the description.
It was a tiny one. It was like this big. It was like leaves and dust.
That's not it. Like, okay, listen to the description. Here's what happens. Read from here, Audrey.
After all, tornado warnings are a way of life during the summer in Grand Island, Nebraska. But soon enough, the wind begins to howl, the lights and telephone stop working. The emergency siren starts to wail.
Okay, stop there for a sec. We don't live in an area that has tornadoes.
Well,
so
there was a tornado on the outside of
yes,
town.
there was. We have had them actually the last 2 springs. We've had them in the outskirts of our town, and very, very small ones that did enough damage. Like I think out in Hamilton City and Durham and Corning, like people's barns were the roof ripped off and things like this. But this sentence. The winds began to howl and the lights and telephone stopped working. The emergency siren started to wail. So when you live in a place like...
I've had tornado warnings happen a lot.
What state is this in?
Nebraska.
Nebraska is a state that has a lot of tornadoes. So what
Just
they
like
have...
Arizona's in tornado. No, where was
Kansas?
That? Kansas, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, good job.
It's in the middle of tornado alley.
That's why there's a tornado.
So what they have is a siren. So if like...
Huge,
Yes,
though.
if we lived in Kansas or Nebraska right now, what do you think would happen, Anna, if a tornado started? We'd hear those sirens, right? So everyone who lives there starts to learn that this is what the sirens are about, you know? And so that to me is a little scary. If all of a sudden we were just sitting here and we heard this huge siren, our whole town would hear it. Like that's kind of, what would that make you feel like?
Wait, wouldn't
Like
all
scared,
that
like what's
have
gonna
their
happen.
Every town has their own, but what happens is like when they watch, like the people who like our weathermen would be watching, and let's say we look outside right now and I say I can see right outside right this very minute, I can see that the sky is gray, there's a little bit of wind. So all of a sudden it got really dark and then the wind picked up and the siren went off, I'd be like, oh my gosh, there's got to be a tornado. Now we would practice, you know how you guys, what do you guys practice?
Fire drills.
Fire drills and Code Red.
I like Code Red.
And
Okay.
We haven't practiced Code Reds yet. Here. Yeah.
You haven't? Okay, well, listen, here's one of the things that happens with Code Reds is that you guys practice it, you know what to do. Kids who live in states that have tornadoes practice this because they know the sound of that siren means you've got to get below ground, usually in a basement where the tornado will be above
do they have
you.
basements in those schools?
Basements. So if you look at some of this description, can you read this last part for me, Anna, where it starts the emergency siren, or after the emergency siren starts to wail?
I would die.
Starts with Dan.
Dan, his baby brother, and Arthur have only seconds to get to the basement before the monstrous twister is on top of them. Little do they know that even if they do survive a storm, their ordeal will have to only just begin.
So, what does that lead you to believe?
By ordeal, but why would it just begin if the storm ended?
Well, let's think about that. If a tornado is powerful enough to take down houses,
They would have to.
streets, to lift cars and animals up in the air, then that means that once it stops, there's a lot of damage and devastation and debris and possibly injuries to people.
Somebody could be flying on the ground and then it could just go.
Well, let's do this. Open your book, Dylan.
Giant piece of metal strip stabs through the
Open your book.
Tornado alert.
Open your book to the very first page. Dylan, do you want to read?
This is a prologue.
Right. I want you to read it. Then we'll get a little bit. Go ahead.
The whole thing.
Okay, go.
Tornado alert. Tornado alert. The light flickered again. At the same time, we heard these really strange sounds that stopped us in our tracks. They were coming from the bathroom and the kitchen. Sucking sounds. The grains were sucking. I felt this awful pulling in my ears, too, as if they were vacuums on both sides of my head. I've got to go home, Arthur cried. all of a sudden bolting for the door. I ran after him. You're not, you can't. I grabbed the back of his t-shirt, hauled him around, and pushed him towards the stairs. Get down there. I have to get Ryan. Now go. And I don't know what I'd have done if he hadn't minded me. We are catching the fear from each other, and even though the siren was screaming on and off again, so I didn't know what it was telling us. I knew that we had to take cover fast. The lights went out for good just before